Well, there's more records broken, and I think the Biden administration is going to break the record in January. Now, this is not a good record, but let's go through some statistics. And let's go through not only statistics, let's talk about the implications of this record and really what it's doing to the American people. Let's jump into it today. This video hopefully will be a little bit more eye-opening. We're going to be discussing the border, but we're going to talk about it a little bit differently than what most people are talking about it. Let's jump into it. Today's video starts right now.
Like giving you the things you asked before, and I know I was wrong.
Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so much for being here today. You can tell that we're inside. The weather is not conducive to be outside. Being that we don't have a studio, we film outdoors, and sometimes the weather just doesn't like us too much. So let's jump into today's video. If you're new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. That's okay, but let us know what you think about this content. Now, we're going to be talking about the invasion of the border, but the border is just one part of it. Let's dive a little deeper. Now, have you heard the term Great Replacement? That's a theory that, of course, if you Google it, it's probably going to come up with all this conspiracy. But truthfully, think about what's happening. I'm going to read the definition, and then you tell me if we're not seeing that in the West, in the European countries that are dealing with immigration, and also here in America. The Great Replacement theory was a theory from a French author stating that he was seeing the movement away from the nationalists of that country to a maneuvering of people being brought in to replace the ones that were already there. Now, we're seeing that across the West. Look at London and how they're seeing pro-Palestinian rallies. And I'm not saying don't protest. I'm saying the maneuvering of all that mass migration has changed from a melting pot of ideas in London to where now they are the majority rule in London. Now, let's talk about it for America. That's where it becomes really big. Now, you hear people like Elon Musk talking about the Great Replacement, and then you hear leftists say, oh, that's just a farce. The Republicans and the conservatives are lying to you. Are they now? Let's go through the statistics, and then what are we seeing here in America? All right, first, let's talk about the border, and then let's jump into the continental USA and the maneuvering of people and how that can impact everything about America and its freedoms and also our elections. So the record that we were talking about earlier with the Biden administration, there was over 276,000 illegal immigrants encountered this 1 month, meaning in December. Since October 1st, there has been 760,000 illegal immigrants coming across our border. Almost 1 million people just since October. Now, have you seen the massive caravan that's coming up right now through Guatemala into Mexico and then heading to our border, probably for 2024? And so I'll get kicked back and they'll say, well, you know, I mean, he can't help that. It happened in every administration. Now listen to two other stories. Undocumented illegal immigrants will qualify now for free health care in California starting January 1st. So your tax dollars are going to be paying for it. So that means more people are going to be migrating and maneuvering into the U.S. knowing they're going to get free education, free health care, and also now free room and board. This is the one that's even more startling. Biden administration threatens Texas if Texas tries to mass deport or arrest illegal immigrants. Why is Biden threatening the sovereign state of Texas, saying if you allow illegal immigrants to come in and you try to get them out, then we're going to hold you accountable? Now, you don't believe that's Great Replacement talk right there. Now, let's talk about America. Where have people moved in droves? Texas and Florida. The two biggest Republican strongholds, as in Electoral College and making sure that we have a fair and balanced election. Now, if all of a sudden we see more influx of people moving from California to Texas, from liberal states, New York, California, to Florida, you're making those states maybe a little bit more purple. Now, what if all of a sudden you add another few million worth of immigrants who are now getting more benefits, who are now changing the way and not assimilating and now living on the system, and all of a sudden, what if all of a sudden you start seeing more amnesty, more acceptance of, you know, this illegal immigration? Then all of a sudden they're moving to California. So all those people that were liberals that moved out of the state to the Texas and to Florida to start changing things there, now they're getting replaced with more liberals there. So the liberals are okay. But what's happening to the conservative states? What's happening to those people that are moving to those other states? What's happening to the border that is now being influxed to where Texas now is turning to a purple state and probably will turn blue within the coming decade? That's what surveys are showing, that within the decade you will see a purple or blue Texas. That is what you call their great replacement. Now, it's not dealing with color. It's not dealing with that. It's dealing with voting. It's dealing with politics. And that is what's scary about the invasion at the border. Yes, the sovereignty of a nation should be protected. Yes, the fact that protection and knowing that there could be bad people coming across the border, yes, that is bad, and we should have protection. But I think Democrats and Biden administration and these people who believe in this globalist push is doing just what they want. It's making the narrative happen of what they've been talking about, the great replacement. If they control Texas, just one more state, especially a bigger state like Texas, all of a sudden more electoral college, more people are moving there. But if all of a sudden there's millions of people that back the Democratic Party, there's millions of people kind of inflowing from liberal states, they're not changing a lot of their views. They're still coming over feeling the same way about certain policies. They may not be as liberal as Gavin Newsom, but they're still liberal. If all of a sudden Texas flips, you will never be in control of anything nationally anymore, because Texas is the biggest state that has one of the biggest economies in the world, but has more power when it comes to electoral college and could easily flip any presidential election from here on out for Democrats. Republicans cannot win enough states to overcompensate for Texas. Not even Florida, too. If we lose Florida the same way, you're going to be fighting an uphill battle. So when you start seeing this mass migration, you're seeing the change in policies. It allows the ones who want globalist push, the one who wants the agendas passed, they will get anything and everything passed because they're willing to hand out the money, to tax the people, to give it to whomever's there to buy the votes to make these things happen. Look at the West. Look at Germany. Look at England. Look at these places. Look at what's happening there. Look at France. Those countries are being overrun, not because of people legally coming in to migrate. They're coming in illegally, and it's making the population change. No one's assimilating, so therefore you're seeing a total flip and total pandemonium, and actually you're going to start seeing, I believe, more infighting in those countries. So the invasion's bad. All because of things they've talked about. The sovereignty, the taxes, the fact that we're paying for immigration that we shouldn't be paying for, and the fact that no one's closing our borders. Our freedoms and liberties are at risk in that facet. That's what everybody talks about. But don't you do your research. Look at the great replacement theory. And you don't believe that's happening across these Western nations and these sovereign nations, you're missing it. The global push for this kind of movement is exactly what's happening. So you're not going to see Biden and them stop it. You're going to hear a little kickback, a little fluff back for some of those more conservative Democrats. But overall, this is exactly to plan. Mass migration changed the makeup, and it allows more votes to be influxed to one political movement and one political party. It's happening all over the world. In the West, the quote-unquote West, a globalist agenda push. Any other nation, especially these nations who are kind of being more sovereign now, you're not going to walk into North or South Korea. You're not going to walk into Vietnam. You're not going to walk into China. You're not going to walk into Taiwan. You're not going to walk into Russia. You're not going to walk into Poland. You're not going to walk into any of those nations and just claim your spot, and they're going to give you anything free. You won't even walk into any country like Mexico or anyone in South America and do that. But we're allowing it to happen because we have this globalist push from our politicians, because there's a lot of money and a lot of power behind it. Look it up. That's what's happening when you talk about the border. That's one of the biggest fears, is because they'll control it all at that point. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer. I want you to be aware of what's going on. Here's how you fix it. You start talking. You start making sure people know on social media, your friends, share information. Let people understand what's going on. Let your politicians hear it from you. It may be like you know, in one ear, out the other. But if you're doing your part, that's key. Keep making sure that your church and your community and your family understands what's going on, so you can prepare and take care of them, and make sure that you're doing all you can to control what goes on at your home and protection of your home. Now, we really need more than just fixing our border. We need revival, we need repentance, and we need revitalization in America. We really, truly do. I'm hoping that comes without seeing something like infighting. I hope that comes without seeing revolution. I hope that comes without seeing harder times. But sadly, I don't know anymore. And that's why I think us, as people who want to live for their freedoms and liberties, who want to have a more conservative outlook on life, who wants to have, a self-sustaining and prepping mentality, and be able to homestead and people just leave us alone. It's going to take people like us standing up and saying, this is wrong. I challenge you to be that person. 2024 is going to be a humdinger because of an election, because of mass migration, and you're going to see more and more of this replacement theory working itself out right in front of your eyes. Guys, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about this video. Are you seeing it? Am I crazy? Do I have a tinfoil hat on? I don't know. Guys, thank you for watching. God bless. Happy homesteading, y'all.
Didn't I make you smile? Didn't I make you feel like you were happy for a while?